Adding decimals, hypothermia. Victor's temperature was at 94.2 degrees. Per the doctor's orders, the nurse got the wet clothing off, started to dry him, and put him in warm blankets. Next, while continuing the warming efforts, they also provided intravenous fluids and warm, moist oxygen to him. Given all these efforts and some amount of time passing, she finds that his temperature has gone up 1.25 degrees. What is Victor's temperature? So to solve this problem, let's go over the steps for adding decimals. When adding decimals, we must line up the decimal, which is essentially allowing us to line up the place values. This is the same process that we use when adding whole numbers, only we also need to ensure that the decimals are lined up vertically. The way we decide where to put the decimal in the answer is that we bring it straight down. In the example with Victor, we have two numbers. Let's go ahead and write those. 94.2 plus 1.25. So let's put that decimal. We're going to put that 1 to the left of it, the 2 directly below the other 2, and the 5. And then to add these, we need to ensure that we line up the decimals. So we did that. Then we go to Then, as 5 seems to be on its own, let's add a 0 as a placeholder after the 0. Next, as we see that the 5 kind of seems to be on its own, let's go ahead and add a 0 to the right of the 2 on top of the 5, kind of as a placeholder. We can now add these two numbers together, as we have lined up the place values for these two numbers. Working from right to left, let's start adding. So, 0 plus 5 is 5. 2 plus 2 is 4. We're going to bring straight down that decimal. And now we have 4 plus 1, which is 5. And then we can just write down 9, because we don't have to add anything else to it. So, now we have our answer of Victor's new temperature of 95.45. Let's look at another example. We have two decimal numbers. In this example, there is no number in the ones place. However, we can still line up the numbers by decimal. So let's put the 0.634 on top. And then directly below it, we'll put the 0.07. So there's a decimal, 0.7. And like before, let's add a 0 as a placeholder after the 7. So now we can add right to left, as we are now ready. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 7 is 10. So let's write that 0, and we're going to carry the 1 to the tens place. So now we add the 1 plus 6 plus 0, which is 7. Let's bring straight down that decimal, and then 0, as 0 plus 0 is 0. So, therefore, we have our answer, and it is customary to write a 0 in front of the decimal in the ones place, just to indicate this. So in review, just like whole numbers, decimals must have their place values aligned. Let's go ahead and fill in this. And then the decimal will be brought straight down to the answer. Example 3. Walter is watching his temperature as he just finished the Seattle Marathon in cold, pouring rain temperatures. He first took his temperature, which read 94.5 degrees. In this warming center that was set up by the marathon. In an hour, his temperature is taken again and reads 1.9 degrees higher. What is his new temperature? So we are going to write the 95.4 on top. Then we're going to go right below it and add the 1.9. So now that we've lined up our place values as the tenths line up, our ones line up, and our 10 is just the 1. So now we can start adding from right to left. So 4 plus 9 is 13. So let's put that 3 below, and we'll add the 1 to the ones place. So 1 plus 5 plus 1 is 7. But we also forgot to bring down that decimal straight down between those two numbers. Now we can just bring also straight down the 9. So we have his new temperature of 97.3 degrees.